I've always been of the opinion that if you could change something, you should at bare minimum participate in the process. You have a duty. And so of course I registered, but then after asking other individuals and inquiring about it, I thought it was kind of one of those put up or shut up moments. And that, okay, participating in the process is one thing as a voter, but maybe I should take it to the next level. And I just looked at the field of candidates that was there, and if I couldn't convince somebody else that I believed strongly in, and I didn't believe strongly in who was running, then it was my time to go ahead and say, this is what I stand for, and this is what I want to do, and if you're for that too, vote for me, and if not, that's how representative democracy works. I did my undergrad and graduate work at Oklahoma State, a master's degree in international trade and development, and then went in to work for American Airlines for a while, and then down in Dallas and in London, and then went to law school at Oklahoma City University. And I had just really finished law school, moved back to Stillwater, and had been operating my law office for a little over a year at the point where we decided to run for office. And so I do that, and now I also do property development. That was just really starting at the same time. We had bought a couple of little rent houses, but now we're doing a lot of development in the downtown area. And as far as my wife, she said, is this really what you want to do? You know, do you think that you can do this, be a dad, and still be an attorney? And the answer was yes. And she said, well, if you want to do it, I certainly understand why. And she was behind me. And really, everybody always says, well, are you going to do your full 12 years? Well, it's up to two things, my wife and the voters. You know, every 2 years we take kind of a measure about how are the boys with this? Am I still able to get to the soccer games? Am I still be able to be an active dad as opposed to somebody who's just there kind of entitled alone? And so, you know, you want to do this is short term. I mean, we make long-term decisions that impact the state for the long term. But all in all, in the scope of your life, this is short term, whereas your kids are not. So we just kind of take a barometer every couple of years and see how it's going. It's difficult. Those are never the easy choices. But I really, unless I can look at it and say on its face, I don't believe it to be constitutional, that this is going to be something that gets tied up in court for years and costs the state money. If it's what my constituency wants, and long term, I don't see an adverse impact to the state of Oklahoma as a whole, and it's not going to, you know, it can pass constitutional muster. Typically, I'll go with what my district wants, even though personally I may have a moral objection, because I think they sent me down there to represent their views. I don't think that they sent me to Oklahoma City to express my views, and so I really try, and that happens, you know, quite a bit. I'm a Democrat that really is in, for all practical purposes, a Republican-leaning seat by registration and by voting. And so I try to remain cognizant of that, and that, you know, even though I may feel one way or another on something, that as long as it benefits the state and I know where my constituency stands, I certainly need to vote my constituency.